Hello, and thank you for the chance to speak to you today at the Midwest Fish and Wildlife virtual conference. Thanks to everyone for making the best of this challenging time, and I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. I am Jessie Cayley, and I'm the City of Eagan's Water Resources Specialist. I've been with the City of Eagan since 2007, and today I'm going to tell you about our neighborhood fishing program and highlight some of our recent challenges and accomplishments. Eagan is a southern suburb of the Twin Cities metro area, covering about 34 square miles, and is home to about 67,000 people. Land use is mostly residential, along with parks, commercial, and industrial properties. Eagan has more than 1,000 surface water bodies, totaling more than 2.5 square miles of open water. Eagan's lakes are generally shallow and eutrophic, and most are connected to the storm sewer system, which eventually flows to the Minnesota River, just upstream of its confluence with the Mississippi River. In 1990, Eagan established its first water quality and wetland management plan. Over the last 30-plus years, city staff have monitored lakes, managed stormwater, added a stormwater utility fee, reduced watershed nutrient inputs, and worked to control lake nutrients, among other things. One specific part of the city's water quality plan is to manage fisheries. 3 main fish-related goals are to provide recreational fishing access within about a mile of everyone in Eagan, to use fishing as a basis for education and stewardship in the community, and to use top-down predation as one component of a strategy to maintain clear water states in Eagan's priority lakes. You might be wondering why a city government is doing fisheries management. Isn't that a little unusual? The short answer is yes, but we think it's a good thing. We are able to focus some of our energy on fisheries because we have successful partnerships with other organizations, because Eagan residents value their lakes, and because the City Council has been very supportive as well. Eagan is a great place to have an extensive neighborhood fishing program with so many small glacial lakes, and as a suburb of the Twin Cities metro area, we are rich in various cultures that value fishing and nature. We work with plenty of other government layers to accomplish our fisheries goals. We stay in touch with our county's government, which manages 11 lakes in a regional park within Eagan's borders. Our main partner and permitting authority in fisheries management is the state government agency, the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, or DNR. Specifically, its Fishing in the Neighborhood program, or FIN. Some of the East Metro FIN staff are listed as co-authors on this talk, and they are our main partners in this work. My fisheries education background allows us to mimic the DNR sampling methods, and we obtain permits from the DNR for the work that we do. Together, we can manage more lakes for improved fisheries and water quality than either of us could do alone. So our neighborhood fishing program includes winter aeration for fish survival, fish population surveys, annual stocking, public outreach, and providing fishing access. So I will briefly describe each of these efforts. We have an extensive winter aeration program. 13 of Eagan's city-managed lakes can be aerated in wintertime to ensure fish survival if low oxygen conditions occur. Aerators are only installed if needed. We test the oxygen every week or two all winter. Lakes with better water quality tend to have higher oxygen levels all season. Winters with less snow and more sunlight getting through to the aquatic plants tend to require fewer lakes to be aerated. Certainly, there are pros and cons to winter aeration. It takes a lot of time, it creates unsafe ice, and it allows potentially overabundant fish to survive the winter as well. However, we continue to aerate because we don't want to risk losing our mature fish populations, and we don't want to risk significant winter kills where only the bullheads and minnows survive. In this way, winter aeration can be helpful to maintain more balanced fish populations as well as ensuring angling opportunities. We do fish population surveys on each of our fishing lakes about every 5 years using trap nets and box traps along the shoreline. These are a little bit easier than seine nets based on the amount of vegetation and other tree fall and things that we have. Because gill nets are often lethal and our lakes are so small, we don't tend to use those very often. We don't own city electroshocking equipment, but sometimes the DNR staff comes out with their shocking boat to help with surveys. And we have considered hiring some electroshocking out in the future, but we're not sure yet. The FIN program staff perform a few surveys in town as well, depending which lakes are on the list for what year and on their available staff time. We stock fish annually, focusing on a variety of species such as largemouth bass, channel catfish, walleye, bluegill, yellow perch, and black crappie. Often the DNR contributes fish to Eagan's stocking efforts as well. We base our stocking decisions partly on the results of our fish population surveys and partly on what types and sizes of fish are available from the area hatcheries. We created online public use surveys in 2015 and 2020. So we've learned which lakes probably receive the most angling pressure. We have heard about angler priorities. We've gotten new ideas about infrastructure, plant control, our fishing guide, and other things like angler demographics. We intend to continue these surveys about every 5 years. Eagan has 9 fishing piers, most of which were at least partly funded by the DNR and are maintained by Eagan's parks maintenance staff. There are many additional shore fishing points and overlooks, and plenty of parkland along lake shores where someone could cast out a line. Gas boat motors may not be used in Eagan based on city ordinance, but people can paddle or use trolling motors any place where they can legally gain carry-in access. A few lakes have canoe racks with seasonal spaces for rent, and one public drive-in boat access is available on Fish Lake. We give away free pocket-sized printed booklets that we call Eagan Fishing Guides, and we have an online version as well. These guides show a depth map of each lake, park amenities, lake facts, and fish species information, and also include pages on stormwater, lake health, common game fish, water safety tips, catch and release practices, volunteering, and how to report poaching. We are currently working on several updates in the realm of public information, which will be coming soon. These include our online fishing overview map will soon be an interactive story map. We will add fish survey summaries and stocking information for each lake, which we don't currently have now online. And we are planning to work with park maintenance staff to install and update our kiosks found at various lakes throughout Eagan. So these will house new posters, including up-to-date lake data and fishing information, as well as messages about special projects and stormwater impacts that are specific to each lake. Free or low-cost fishing classes are taught by me or other invited professionals with local volunteers helping out as well. These are aimed at kids and families, but they're open to everyone. And during these events, I typically apply for a fishing license waiver so that somebody completely new to the sport could just come and try it out. They don't have to worry about buying a license for the day or having any equipment. We typically offer one afternoon of free fishing every month from May to September at various locations around town, and an ice fishing event usually in early February. We provide the equipment, the bait, and staff. We also hold a larger Lake Fest event every other summer in June for several hours on a Saturday, with lots of local organizations participating. We have live music, native fish and reptiles, art projects, fire departments, rescue boats, a food truck, lots of helpful volunteers. Unfortunately, we had to cancel Lake Fest in June of 2020, along with all of our other in-person fishing clinics for COVID safety. But we hope to start back up with the in-person fishing again in 2021, and we are planning our next Lake Fest for 2022. Another successful class we've offered for the last several years now is called School of Fish with Mike Frisch. Mike is a retired teacher turned professional fishing guide and teaches these classes across the Midwest with support from various sponsors. The goal is to get new generations of people introduced to fishing, and each participant gets a book, a new pole, an education on where to find fish, and a lot of practice tying hooks and slip bobbers onto their own line. This is a classroom experience that gets participants lake ready. Normally the class is about $50 per pupil, but the city and a local fishing club both contribute funding toward the entry fees so that the participants for our classes pay only $15 each. I personally love this class, and I learn something new from Mike every year. In 2020, we did hold the class. We were in an outdoor pavilion with masks and distancing, and we are planning the same for the spring of 2021. And if you're interested, more info about the School of Fish is available at www.fishingthemidwest.com. In 2020, like everyone else, we had to be flexible and adapt our plans. We offered a prize drawing for folks who sent us a fishing selfie on social media. We created a brochure we called our Eagan Fishing Passport with various fishing challenges to complete for prize redemption during the month of July. Prizes were things like fish-themed bags, mugs, t-shirts, reusable straws, water bottles, sunglasses, stickers, and stamps. We also put together giveaway packs of information about fishing in Eagan and the local area, non-toxic alternatives to lead fishing tackle, and a small starter tackle box filled with the essentials. These starter kits were given away in partnership with a sale on a new fishing pole at our 2 local hardware stores, which agreed to be involved. This program didn't turn out to be very heavily used, but the leftover giveaway kits can certainly be given out next summer, and we can update that information accordingly. So some of these ideas and activities from 2020 will certainly carry over to future years. So overall, we have had both successes and challenges. The challenges we face, other than the obvious ones brought by the events of 2020, are often limited staff time, budget constraints, and the fact that lakes are complicated places. Shallow lakes especially are tricky to manage because they tend to grow a lot of plants everywhere. They can easily get out of balance. They have a lot of stormwater flowing into them most of the time. And people still expect them to always look nice and smell nice, and sometimes they just don't. We try to provide a lot of public education, and we try to set up reasonable expectations for how lakes will look and behave. So overall, the goal is to find a good balance and ultimately to clean up or soak in the stormwater. So fishing programs in Eagan, I would say, are a success. We have been working hard for a long time to protect and improve our lakes. The long-term data sets we now possess are quite valuable in terms of successful lake management. And we have a lot of data on water quality. We also are now accumulating quite a bit of data on fish populations. Also, we have relatively few aquatic invasive species. Some lakes do have Eurasian water milfoil and purple loosestrife, but otherwise it could be a lot worse. Another thing to celebrate is the sheer number of people who have been using our lakes and ponds, especially over the last year. I've never seen so many people out and about. We have great opportunities to offer, and our lakes are small and sometimes green, but generally healthy. And they have a thriving community nearby to help protect and enjoy all they have to offer. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them today if we have time, or else you're more than welcome to send me an email anytime at jkaylee@cityofeagan.com. Thank you.